All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So in this video, I want to talk about a bodybuilder who I believe is one of the most aesthetic and one of the most symmetrical bodybuilders of all time. So this guy's name is Francis Benfatto. He competed in the 80s, the 90s, and then made a comeback in the 2000s at the age of 48 years old in 2006, and he looked absolutely incredible even when he made his comeback. He was well known for his posing routines. His posing was considered to be some of the most beautiful and just really artful and well done posing of all time. And I think the fact that he was so symmetrical and his lines were so good really impacted the quality of his posing. It just looked so good. He just knew exactly how to pose his body in a way to best present his lines and symmetry. And he just pulled it off very, very well. Unfortunately for Francis, one of the problems that he ran into was in the 90s, judges were starting to reward size more so than they were rewarding conditioning, and conditioning and proportions were really his two calling cards. He obviously was not very well known for his size, so that was an unfortunate era for him to come along in. So his contest weight was between 205 and 215 pounds at all. So again, obviously no mass monster. That's between 88.5 and 93 kilograms. And his height was only 5'6" or 167.5 centimeters tall. He had 20-inch arms, a 51-inch chest, and a small 29-inch waist. I think one of the reasons that Francis is kind of considered maybe a forgotten bodybuilder is because he didn't really have that many first place finishes as a bodybuilder, because of that fact that he came around at a time where they were starting to reward mass and size over conditioning and aesthetics. So he came around in the late 80s, early 90s. His first competition was the Mr. France competition, which he won in 1982. And then he would win the Mr. Universe competition middleweight division in 1985. Then from that point forward, his placings would kind of be kind of all over the place. He had a large number of placings that were actually outside of the top 6 in terms of his IFBB career. So probably his most noteworthy placing was a 6th place finish at the 1990 Olympia, and that was the show that he got recognized by Joe Weider, and that was what got him a contract with Weider because of how good he looked at that year's Olympia. So the year prior, in 1989, his first Mr. Olympia appearance, he placed 12th. Then at the 1990 Night of Champions, he placed 8th, so his placings were moving up a little bit. Then at the Olympia that year in 1990, he placed 6th. But then at the Arnold Classic in 1991, he went from a 6th place finish at the Olympia to a 10th place finish at the Arnold Classic, which is not good. But then in 1991, he would still manage to place 7th at the 1991 Olympia. The 1992 Arnold Classic, he would place 9th. But then in the 1992 Mr. Olympia, his placings would drop dramatically, and he would place 15th at the 1992 Olympia. So his final competition was in 1993 before he took his 13-year hiatus, and that was the IFBB Grand Prix Germany, where he placed 13th. So he took 13 years off, and he would come back in 2006 at the age of 48, and he would compete at the IFBB Grand Prix Australia and place 6th. But this really wasn't about how he placed when he made his comeback. It was about how he looked, and he looked absolutely phenomenal when he made his comeback. For 48 years old, really for anybody in their 40s, Francis Benfatto looked amazing when he made his comeback in 2006. He looked a little bit bigger than he looked actually when he competed back in the 90s, but he still definitely had that same balance, the same beautiful posing, and his arms even, they look bigger to me. So in my opinion, Francis Benfatto exemplifies the fact that if you do not focus on getting as big as possible, getting as freaky as possible, you can have longevity and you can have a physique that lasts you throughout the year. So he is still alive today, and he is 59 years old, and he still looks incredible to this day. So there's some recent photos of him posing in the gym where he looks phenomenal for 59, going on 60 years old. He just looks incredible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a little taste of what bodybuilding used to be. Unfortunately, like I said, Francis Benfatto came along at a time where mass was becoming the new quality that the judges were looking for. So unfortunately, it came along kind of towards the end of aesthetics. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.